Mohammad Ayaz. I'm currently working as a software architect at Modus Create. This is a company based in US, so I work from home. Almost 90% of the people who are working in the company work from their homes. There are around 200 employees, so you can calculate the numbers. I'm also a Google developers expert in Angular and web technologies, and that means that Google itself believes in me and my expertise, so they have acknowledged me by taking several tests. So there's a whole procedure that you have to go through, like you have to have different interviews and some questions, and they analyze you based on the impact that you create. And the reason I'm talking about how what a GDE is because I actually want most of you guys to apply for it in the future, and I can also talk about how you can prepare for becoming a GDE, because there are a lot of opportunities out there, not just in web category. There is a category of Android, Flutter, Google Analytics, and you can also become a GDE, and there are a lot of benefits of being a GDE. Like I get to talk with the people who are actually creating Angular. Like I get to talk to the Angular team. The features come to us early and we get to give feedback on that. We get to test things. We get to talk to different people who are also experts. So if you have an idea that you're working on right now, maybe you have an idea of a library. So who are you going to collaborate with? Maybe your friend or something, but you can also collaborate with an expert and build something bigger. So if anyone has any question regarding that, just reach me out after the session. I'm also a co-organizer of Angular Pakistan, which is a community that focuses on Angular and it promotes Angular. It tries to provide the information in the Angular world to here in Karachi. I'm also running Node School Karachi, which is a community based in based around Node.js and JavaScript. We did not have an event for quite a while now, but we are planning for May that we would have an event, or maybe June if there were some issues with Ramzan. Okay, I'm also a part of Devin Code. How many of you know about Devin Code? Okay, so quite a few people. Devin Code is a community which basically supports different communities. If you have an idea of building a community, Devin Code can help you. The community can provide you different venues like this one. The community can also help your community grow by providing different volunteers. The community also provides opportunities to new speakers that you can come up and speak. They can also provide you mentorship, like reviewing your slides, how you speak, suggestions on based off that. So if you are really into speaking, you should be in contact with someone from Devin Code. You can find me on Twitter at Asan_AYZ. क्योंकि अयाज मुझे नहीं मिल रहा था obviously. तो don't try to reach me out on Facebook. That's considered harassment. You all know that. ठीक है. If you have any questions, you can reach me on LinkedIn. So I will be sharing these slides, and probably someone from JSDive will also share that. So you can reach me out on LinkedIn. I reply people every day. So if you are reaching me out, I'll reply you in like 24 hours. Okay. I've talked a lot about Angular, JavaScript, so you can see all of that on slides.com. I'll share the link as well. If you want to see my work on GitHub, there's the link of that as well. I've contributed to Angular CLI official project. I've also contributed to Ionic core. If anyone is working on Ionic, my code is in your machine right now. I've also created different libraries. One of my libraries is NGX device detector, which has around 1 million downloads at the moment. It was created, I think, 1 year ago. So it has above 30,000 downloads a week. Let's get to PWA. Enough about me. So what is a progressive web app? Let's talk about that first, and then we'll talk about what is a desktop PWA. So progressive web apps are basically installable. That is the first property of that. Okay. You don't have to go to any app store. You don't have to go to Play Store. Progressive web apps are downloadable from your browser, and most of the browsers are now supporting that. So you can install a web application right into your device. Okay. So if you are using, let's say, an Android phone, you will have the apps icon on your launcher, your app drawer, and you can click on it, and it will give you a feel of a native app. Well, it's actually not, but it's a progressive web app. The PWAs are discoverable, which means that you can easily Google it, and then a PWA for something can appear for you. So it is optimized for search engines. It is also optimized for you to find it. Apart from search engines, discoverability also means that since you have the application in your mobile or on your device, you can easily go to your launcher and you can just search for your application with your phone and you should be able to find that. Okay, so the PWA is also discoverable within your devices as well. You can search for it. So it also provides you offline storage, which means that if you have no connectivity or low internet connectivity, the app should still behave really good for the end users, and the end user may not see the difference. That is also one possibility, but most of the times they will see something, but a possibility of offline usage of your entire application is there. For instance, if you have used Facebook, there may have been several times that you have scrolled through different pages or different profiles and suddenly the internet goes off. Now when you open the app again, you should be able to see what you browsed earlier, but not anything new. So that's how a native app feels like, and progressive web apps should be similar. They are engaging, which means that you can interact with your customers every now and then. So progressive web apps feel like native apps. That's why users are immersed into the experience and they don't feel the difference of native versus a web app mostly. And they are engaging because, for instance, if you have an app like Food Panda, you can send push notifications to a progressive web app, which means it's not a native application. You are not going through Google Cloud Messenger or FCM or APN, but you can send web push notifications to the end users via being a progressive web apps. Okay, and that all happens behind the scenes using service workers. This talk is not about getting in depth into how service worker works or how push notifications are implemented, but it's rather about letting you guys know what is the possibility of PWAs and how it's going towards desktop. Okay, just raise your hand whenever anyone has a question. They should be responsive. For instance, if you are talking about applications being installed into different devices, that means that every device should adapt the view. So the app should be responsive. If you are opening it on a tablet, if you are opening it on a desktop browser, if you are opening it on a mobile phone, it should look really great on every device. That's why it would feel like a real app. And it's app-like. I've been saying that a lot. So the experience of PWA is app-like, because when you open the PWA, you will not see the Chrome's address bar at the top. You will see what an app feels like the status bar, the app theme, and stuff like that. If you are opening PWA on desktop, we'll see how that looks, but going forward. Okay, so there's a concept called FIRE, which is used a lot with progressive web apps. So the progressive web apps are supposed to be fast, which means if there is low internet connectivity or no connectivity, they would still be fast. The application load time would drastically be fast because of something that we call app shell. How many of you know about app shell? 1, 2, very good. So app shell is basically a way to show the user your application before even JavaScript triggers. So before even JavaScript compiles, like if you have a React application or an Angular application or any other framework. So to be able to show the UI to the user, the app has to be compiled, right? So it will open on the browser, then the JavaScript would kick in, and then after certain things, the UI would be built. But app shell allows you to show a dummy application just with the static content right away whenever you are opening the app. Thank you. So that's how it works. Then we have integrated, which means that it feels like a native app. It feels like a desktop app whenever you are using it, and it can connect with the system as the APIs are evolving. Okay, the apps are engaging. Reliable. Reliability means that whenever the network goes off and comes back on again, there is a certain thing that apps are now able to do. So for instance, if you go offline and come back online, the app should be able to recognize it and then can proceed further. The app should also work offline so the users can see what they browsed earlier. For instance, if you are talking about medium.com, so if you are browsing different articles, a PWA of Medium should really help the users who want to see their articles again, even if there's no internet. So it's really helpful in that way, being a web app. Okay. And the engaging part was already explained: push notifications, immersive experience. The question now is why? Why do we really need a PWA? Why do we need a desktop PWA? That is the question that you may have. there's a statistics report that shows how the people use different devices. So the green line is of tablet, the orange one is of phone, the blue one is of desktop. So you can see that the desktop usage of PWAs is scattered throughout the day. It's from late night to the prime time. So PWAs on desktop is really important for applications like utilities. For instance, if you have a reminder application, the people would rather have it on their desktop rather than on a web application. Same goes for any application that shows different times for different time zones, like New York, whatever country you are interested in. You could have the PWA running at the side, and then you can see it whenever you want rather than going to Chrome and switching tabs. Okay. The news about PWA is that starting Chrome 73, you are now able to run PWAs on almost all of the operating systems. So you have the Linux support, you also have the support for Windows, and recently from 73 they added the support for Mac OS X, so you can also install applications on your desktop. There are some design considerations that you have to think when you are developing a PWA. So we'll talk about that really fast. First of all, when you run an application as a PWA, it has the app-like feel. So if you see the header at the very top, you can see that there is the close button, the minimize button, and then the expand button. If you are running it on Windows, you will see the minimize button, the maximize button, and the close button as well. So you can theme your title bar from your application, like from your code, what color of the title bar would be there. Okay, so you can think of different theming considerations when creating a PWA. So this is an app CareGenie that me and my team built for a global hackathon that we won, and it was basically named as the innovation winner for the hackathon. Anyways, so the app also has a menu at the very right, so you can open it and you can uninstall the app if you want and do other options as well. So it really feels like a really good experience for the end users. You can theme the header, as I said, based on the color. So in this picture you can see that I've themed it exactly based on the application's header, so you can also do that. Okay, we have the title bar at the very top, this section which is highlighted. We have the title bar buttons at the left. On Windows it's on the right, so you can also see that with the desktop PWAs. And one of the design considerations that I talked about was responsive design. So we also had this built with responsive design. On desktop it looks like this, on tablets it looks like this, if you go smaller it changes to this, and then finally on mobile it looks like this. This is also valid for PWAs. Why? Because the user may just make the width smaller and put it on the side and then work with his other applications. So prompt to the user of installing the application. From recent updates of Chrome, previously they used to show you a message of adding the app to your home screen if you have used Chrome. Okay, but now they basically give a prompt to you, to the coder or to the developer, and you can, or the developer can decide when to show the prompt. Okay, so you can also programmatically show, like if you don't have to show the add to home screen right when the app launches. You can show it on a particular experience. Let's say if the user came, and let's say if you have a financial application, they just went through and finalized their order, and now they have gone towards the checkout screen, and now they have planned to give their credit details. Now you can potentially tell them add to home or something. So what I did recently was I basically added the code here. So this app is live. I'm going to share the link with you, so you can also try that right now if you have the latest Chrome. And what we do is we have this button add to home. When you click on it, it shows you a pop-up through which you can install the application in your phone, on your desktop. And Chrome also helps you in a lot of ways. If you talk about Android, and if you open this application on Android, obviously you have the add to home button at the very top, but you also get this pop-up at the very bottom that says add the app to your home screen, and this will add the application within your app launcher, okay, which will really help you. So it goes like this. You click on this, it shows this modal, you click add, and then it goes towards your screen. I have a little demo of a progressive web app with Angular. So the application CareGenie was built using Angular. Anyone wants to see that? How many of you want to see that? Okay, there's only one condition. You all have to shout Angular is the best at the count of 3. Simple. How many of you are not agreeing with this? 1, 2, 3. Okay, you can go home, no problem. Okay, just kidding. So I can show the demo if I have time, but later. Okay. So what's next? Sorry?
I think this is martial law.
This is martial law, yeah. No, we all, especially the Angular developers, we are like, all frameworks are good. There's no hatred. We are like brothers. So there's no problem with that. So Chrome is constantly improving with the PWAs, and there are a lot of things which are coming next. So for instance, there is Omnimox badging. There's also the badge for launch icon. For instance, if you got some update for the user, and you don't want to show notifications right on the face of the user, you can allow the app to show a badge icon like you have in your mobile applications, right? And the user would know that there's something within the app for them, so they can interact with that. They're also working on the link capturing stuff, which means that if you open an app from your browser and you already have a PWA installed within your machine, the browser would actually open the app, the PWA, instead of going to the browser. So they are also working on that. I'm not sure about the keyboard shortcuts, to be honest. I did not read up much about that. These are some resources which will help you understand about PWAs. You can also create your own PWAs and experiment with them. You can also work with service workers for caching. You can also work with push notifications. You can also work with app shell to display the information shortly, even when there's no JavaScript or no network. And you can also see, adding push notifications to the web app. All of these resources were picked because they are very good. So you can go through these and learn more about PWAs.